Hey everyone, welcome back for another day. What I wanted to do starting off today is answer some of the questions that you all asked from Monday. And I wanted to go through those because there were some really nice questions and I just wanted to talk about those for a little bit. First one was kind of talking about, or kind of a big grouping of questions that I got was on how many colors to use. Typically, what I've seen most successful is when students use at least a family of 3 colors. So that falls with analogous. It doesn't really work for monochromatic or complementary, and then it also works for the whole color wheel itself. Additionally, if you want to use multiple schemes in different sections of your abstract color wheel, that also works out really well as well. Otherwise, what you can do is you're just kind of thinking as an abstract depiction of the color wheel itself. So then you're using all hues represented on the color wheel, and you're thinking about how to include all of those. One other grouping of questions that I got was on other color schemes that we didn't talk about in class. So there's the 3 that we talked about, which would have been monochromatic, so 1 color plus black and white, analogous with a family of 3 to 5 colors on the color wheel, and then complementary, which is colors directly opposite each other on the color wheel. 2 that kind of fall into a similar manner. One is split complementary. So instead of having red-green, it would be using red and then green-yellow or blue-green. It's nice because it gives you the nice contrast, but usually gives you a little bit more variety. And then another one that's fairly similar to that is tetrad. It's almost like making a rectangle within those complementary family colors, and you're almost using like 2 sets of complementary colors that are right next to each other on the color wheel. The other 2 big ones are triad. And triad is when you have colors that are equally spaced apart in groupings of 3. So a good example of that would be like using all primary colors, which are a third apart, or all secondary colors, which are also a third apart. And then you have square, or sometimes it's called tetradic color scheme, in that they are an equal like quarter apart. And you can see that in the example above, and then it would rotate similarly to majority of the other color scheme. Last 2 questions. First one, a lot of you asked, what's the difference between realism and abstraction? So realism is typically defined as what you can see or find around you within your natural setting. So you can kind of think of as like things that you could photograph. With abstraction, there's a couple categories with abstraction, but typically what it comes down to is it's taking reality and then moving a certain steps away from reality and using some of the elements or principles of art to kind of break it down. So with this project, we're using a variety of shapes to simplify and to vary the color wheel itself into an abstraction of the color wheel, and it kind of removes it one step from this theory that we know. Additionally, with artists that use abstraction, it's usually taking something and then using a certain amount of steps to abstract it and almost kind of take those steps away from how it normally looks as we see it as we go around the world itself. Last question that I got, when is this project due? For us, I believe what I'm going to have us do, kind of seeing where you've all been working at and where pacing seems like it's working out, I think I'm going to aim for the 30th and then the 1st. So we have about 1 more week on this project. Next week we're going to start going over blending and some information on outlining. But to get us moving in today's assignment, it's a pretty simple entry and assignment for today. For the sketchbook entry, it's going to be sketchbook 8. And what I want you to do is you're going to make a written reflection. And what I want you to write about is you are going to write about a few things. You can talk about what your feelings are on the sketchbook entries and how those have been going so far. You can talk about how the abstract color wheel has been going for you. And what I want you to think about with that is thinking about what has been going well and what's been a success, and then also what has been a challenge for you in kind of both distance learning and in the project itself. So I want you to take a few moments. This can probably be an entry where you finish it in about 5 minutes, and then we are going to move on and continue working on coloring the abstract color wheel. Majority of you should be getting to a point where you're starting to wrap up and finish your abstract color wheel and have it all colored. Next week what we're going to do is, since most everyone is either getting close to having that first layer down with the abstract color wheel, or is all done and finished, what I want to start doing is looking at just some additions that you can do with the materials that you have at home to enhance some of the blending, and then also to give some more texture and information to the color wheel itself. So on Tuesday and Wednesday next week, I'm going to go over some blending materials that you can use at home and are stuff that you can probably find in either your bathroom or your kitchen. And then the other thing that we're going to go over with is just kind of outlining and options for that. Some of you may really like the look of this, just not outlined at all, but I am going to go through and just kind of show what that can look like, and it is a nice addition if you do like a little bit more of a graphic or design-based style. Last thing before I let you to go today, I'd say aim to be drawing and finishing up coloring your abstract color wheel for about 15 minutes or so, and then I will see some of you on Friday and some of you on Monday. So have a great 2 days or a great weekend, and I'll see you all next time.